I mean, you sound like how I was when I started. When I started looking at him, I was like, woo!
Yeah.
When I started really looking at the dialogue and the scenes, and you're like, wow, like it's gonna have to be like a. But then again, like how he speaks is just a window into how he thinks. Love to go to Arizona. No, I haven't been to Arizona. I remember I wore an Arizona t-shirt in this film Sicario, and
yes.
then the first AD said, "Yeah, I went uni there." And we spoke about Arizona. I was like, "Yo, that sounds cool, and I really want to go one day."
Please let me know. I'll help set you up. It's the one state I have a little clout in, so I can help you. You know, your performance in this, I don't even know where to begin. And people are calling it a career best. And I would honestly agree with that. I know it's probably hard for you to be somewhat objective, but do you look at this as probably the best thing you've ever done?
I think it's the biggest challenge I've had in my life. It made me had to stand at my tallest in order to kind of reach the stature of Chairman Fred, and yeah, man, I felt like it was the project that kind of allowed me to give the most. You know, is how I feel about that. So, you know, I just keep pushing and keep serving the story and keep serving the legacy.
You know, it's interesting. I know when Get Out came out, and I think even a few talk shows, people were talking about the fact that at first people didn't realize you were British, and obviously you are British. It's more amazing to me listening to you portray Fred here, because not only do you capture how he sounded, but he spoke very quickly with kind of this really unique rhythm where, you know, he speeds up and slows down. And I don't know where you start with that, just the way he spoke.
I mean, you sound like how I was when I started. When I started looking at him, I was like, woo!
Yeah.
When I started really looking at the dialogue and the scenes, and you're like, wow, like it's gonna have to be like a. But then again, like how he speaks is just a window into how he thinks. You know, like everyone, how you speak is a window into how you think. So I had to really adopt his thought patterns in order to attack the lines in the way that I attack them, and then the delivery is just a product of the thinking behind the speech.
I remember hearing that you thought some words that were hard to do were mirror and Episcopalian. Was there a word when portraying Fred that was tricky?
Wow, good question. There must have been. I say a couple. I think there's. I can't remember off top. There was a couple, but a lot of times is that I didn't have probably that issue because there was a template. You know, there was a blueprint. So it was not like, oh, this is me getting the accent and saying the words and getting over my idea of it. It was like, oh, this is how he speaks, and I adopted how he speaks. So there was probably moments, but I was in an accent all day, so I kind of just stayed in it.
I mean, wouldn't it be terrible if that word was revolutionary, if that was the tricky word?
I think that was the first word. I was like, let me get this right. Let me get this.
Right. In listening to Lakeith talk about how, you know, he's been really open, and I've actually been somewhat moved by how much he struggled having to play Bill O'Neill. Did you sense that he was really going through a tough time with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, certain scenes he was broken, you know, like there was on the 50th anniversary when we did I'm not going to spoil it, but we did a certain scene. He was in a place, and you know, and in that moment, all you can do is support him, you know, and just tell him, you got this, man, you got this, you know, like let's keep going, let's keep delivering the truth, let's keep being a vessel for this story and lifting up Chairman Fred.
I love hearing the fact that obviously you wanted to meet the family. I can't imagine what this experience has been like for Fred Jr. and also Mama Akua. Specifically as it relates to Fred, how did he help you the most? And do you remember the scene where you're portraying his father that he never got to meet, and he was pretty emotional that day?
I mean, I think he helped all of us by like activating us, you know, and like I remember there was one day that he took all of us to the side on lunch break, and just told us the stakes of what was happening and what was happening at the time and who these people were, and these really specific, intimate stories that can't be in the script about each of our characters, and giving us a window into the context and the perspective of the Black Panther Party. So that was invaluable in terms of grounding us and understanding what we're doing and why we're here. And in terms of, I don't know the day that he was emotional. I don't know. You probably know more than me, because me and him we kind of respectfully kind of kept each other's space, because it was a lot for both of us, like going through it. But I do remember the day when I finished the screen test. I finished the screen test, and the first time I was dressed as Chairman Fred. The first person I saw was him. And it was obviously, and he'd never met his father. So it was, and then he gave me the deepest hug for about like 10-second hug. It was an incredible moment. I did remember that.
Seeing that speech that you give in that church, Lakeith says he's never been to a concert before, which kind of surprised me, and it very much felt like a concert for you. I mean, when you get done with a day like that, do you just kind of look around and go, "I killed it. That I nailed that"?
No, I don't even hit that. I was like, I did feel that, I touched something new in me that I didn't know that I had. I hit a space. But it was kind of like a whirlwind. He's like, wow. But then, you got to learn the lines for the next day. You got to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't dwell on it. You kind of go, but I think it was just a moment. There's people of Cleveland, like, really lifted us up in that moment, and it was amazing to kind of be in that room and kind of be in a time machine, essentially, and it was incredible that we were saying Chairman Fred's words.
I would have loved to have been in that audience. Congratulations. You are just outstanding. You know what you need? You need a nice spa day in Arizona so you can relax after portraying such an impactful and revolutionary man.
Listen, Tara, I'm coming to Arizona for the clout. Yeah. Like
okay. That sounds good. It's the only place I have it. I'll use it. Thanks, Daniel. Take care. Lakeith, you look like you're just kicking back and taking it all in.
Yeah, just getting through.
First of all, congratulations on this movie. I must admit, you have been so open and honest about what a struggle this was for you. The fact that you didn't really want to play him at first, the fact that this really weighed heavy on your heart. And I'm just curious, was there a moment where you were actually able to make peace with playing him and recognize that by playing him, you're helping shed light on somebody who truly was a revolutionary?
Yeah, that happened toward the end. I finally started to feel like it was okay. For the most part, we shot a lot of things in sequence. So toward the end, where I had to poison Fred and all that, it was like after that, I started to feel like, okay, this is all right. Shaka helped me with it.
You mentioned that. You mentioned that Shaka had helped. I was watching some of the Q&As yesterday. How about Fred's family? Were you able to connect with them, or was there anything that they said to you that kind of, made that weight a little lighter?
Yeah, afterwards, while we were filming, I tried to keep my distance, but afterwards, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. just, reassured me that we all did a great job, and that, we were doing the right thing. So that was really nice to have him there. And I felt like if I got his blessing, then I'm in good shape.
I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, the scene where Daniel is giving the big speech, the I Am a Revolutionary speech, very much felt like a concert. And is it true that you had never been to a concert before?
Yep, both things are true.
So what was that day like? Because not only did it feel like a concert, I've been to some concerts. It was more engaging than half the concerts I've been to. So what was that day like for you, witnessing this?
It was beautiful. I mean, the best part was looking out into the crowd and seeing all the people on one accord and holding Daniel up in this performance and supporting him. And all of them had afros and fists up. Yeah. And there were a lot of different kind of people peppered in there, white people, Hispanic people, Black people. So it was nice.
Have you seen the whole thing? Have you seen it in its entirety now? Are you able to sit back and, in light of the struggles that you had personally just playing him, appreciate just what an incredible job you did? Or do you still have a hard time even complimenting yourself as it relates to your performance?
Yeah, I'm not really big on complimenting myself too much. It's just more trying to see things that I might have missed, how I could be better next time. More like watching your tape back as an athlete, trying to figure out how you can be more honest moving forward and portray things in a way that you would intend for them to come across. But the film itself, I'm very proud of it.
What did you miss? I thought you were absolutely phenomenal. I would be curious to wonder what you thought you missed.
A lot of it's just little things. I'm a very detailed type of person. So, if I did a little thing that didn't really come across in the right way in my mind, then I'll, try and fix it for the next time. But a lot of it's a little small stuff that most people would miss probably.
The very beginning of the film shows your character, and actually I tried to watch they showed at the end, Bill O'Neill actually in Eyes of the Prize. And one of the first things you hear is the interviewer asking, what would you tell your son? And I know you've got a very young daughter, but what will you tell your daughter about this film and about Fred Hampton?
I think I will leave the film for the kids to interpret and come up with their own. I mean, not very many kids should be watching it anyway, but I mean, I guess, it's rated R. But once they get older, maybe they'll have some perspective and come to their own conclusions.
Well, I appreciate your time. I'll be honest, I know this is a long day for you, and I know this is doing these Zooms suck. Next time, if we do this in person, I'm going to give you a big hug, because I thought your performance portraying somebody that you did not want to portray and who definitely is not somebody that we look up to in any way was phenomenal, Lakeith. And I hope you realize that by doing such a great job, you made the movie better and our appreciation of Fred even that more powerful.
Well, thank you very, very much. And I'll give you a virtual hug for now.
Virtual hug. All right. Take care, Lakeith. Thank you.
Bye.
Listen, thank you for this performance and congratulations. What I loved so much about this, and I don't know if it's a hard thing to pull off or an easy thing to pull off. She is a very she's not aggressive, she's not forceful, but yet she has all the confidence you would hope she would have. How do you balance that? How do you find that kind of quiet but powerful confidence in a character?
Yeah, I really have to give it over to Mama Akua Njeri, who's formerly known as Deborah Johnson, because although she wasn't personally on set a lot and I didn't really get a lot of insight with the character, she really allowed me to go based off of my instincts, which I'm grateful for. But before we filmed, we went to the family and sat around the table. One of the things she talked about was the discipline that the Panthers had. They were very disciplined. They didn't talk out of turn. And it was a lot of things that she was like, I would never have said that to Chairman Fred. And so it allowed me to say, how could this fiery woman who says whatever's on her mind tell me that she wouldn't even have said that to Chairman Fred? That doesn't make any sense, But I wasn't in the character yet. And as I watched Daniel and I watched him take up space and I learned how to trust, I realized that Chairman Fred allowed people to trust in him. And when you have that kind of trust in somebody, you don't have to be on guard. You don't have to be defensive. You can be open and you can speak from kindness. So I could understand then why she didn't have to do that he didn't warrant that out of her. He's a listener. So you don't have to raise your voice or you don't have to give attitude, And so that allowed me to say, okay, she was really adamant about that. I think there's things that for a movie standpoint, a character arc standpoint, we have to have her say certain things so that she can have urgency and power. But there's a way in which I can say it that doesn't have to come off like a 2019, 2020 girl that's like, you shouldn't talk to people like that. You know what I mean? Like there's ways, there's a lot of levels to it all.
Oh, it was so good. Speaking of words and the power that they have, the scene where you share a poem with Fred is a really moving scene. Was that a poem you wrote?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, it was so good. I'm so curious as to what Mama Akua thought of that scene when she saw that, or has she?
Well, she's definitely seen the movie. We actually haven't talked about that scene or the poem. That's actually a good question. I would love to know. I do know that she said that Daniel and I's performance, our chemistry made her miss that love and made her remember. So that's an honor for sure.
Well, and not only that, you're tasked with playing someone, especially having Fred around, you're tasked with playing, his mother, obviously, and the mother as she was while she's carrying him around and also dealing with all of this stuff. I almost wonder if your performance didn't give him a different appreciation, if he even needed one, of his actual mom.
Wow, I would wonder too. I remember the first time Mama Akua came on set. She was at Video Village. I said, I'm not gonna go over there. I'm just gonna stay over here. And so I did the scene, which was the one with Dominique Thorne, who plays Judy Harmon. We had that little small heart to heart about her realizing that I was pregnant. And then after that, they said, Mama Akua wants to see you. And I was like, oh, Lord. And I went downstairs and Chairman Fred Jr. was actually crying. He said, no, it's my allergies. And Mama Akua said, you did that scene. That was a Deborah Johnson up there. And that really gave a weight off of my shoulder because there's not a lot of footage of her at that age. Right. So it was really based off of instincts, based off of me journaling. That green book that I had in the movie is one I asked Shaka if I could carry around. And I journal as all of my characters, but this one was another level because it was used in the movie. So I really I made a poem for every moment that they had, their first kiss, the first time they see each other. I had Nina Simone songs to every scene, and just a lot of music and a lot of intuition. You know, a lot of spirit went into this.
All right, listen, I'm pretty good at gift giving. I smell Mother's Day is coming up. I feel like you should publish that and give it to her as a book or as a gift, all these poems you wrote from your experience, don't you think?
I mean, I want to do something with the poetry, so maybe that'd be a great idea.
You know, you've talked about how you felt the night before the big scene where Fred is assassinated and how you didn't sleep. And I can't imagine what that was like. But I didn't hear, how did you handle the day after it was done? What did you do when that scene was done and there was a wrap on all of that?
Interesting. You know, it's kind of a bit of a blur. I don't know that I remember. I remember the day, and I remember kind of like, I was like clinging to Daniel a lot that day. Like now in hindsight, I'm like he move, I move, or like we're on the bed and I'm like kind of like buried in his back. Like I don't know, but I'm like I don't know what's happening. I don't remember what happened after that.
Well, that makes sense to me because all the build up to it and what you went through and how you shot it, it would make sense that you just didn't even register. I wish we had more time. You are so good in this. I hope I get to meet you in person when all of this is said and done. And thank you so much for your time, Dominique.
Thank you.